Did you know that factories around the world have built over 600 million M16 rifles? Crazy, right? But day after day, more of these powerful weapons come off the assembly lines, shiny and ready to go. But here's what's even cooler. This was the story of the M16, but it began way back in the Vietnam War. It was light, fast, and reliable, designed to change the game. Therefore, how do they make so many of these rifles so precisely, and why is it so famous? So let's look at its history and see what makes it one of the most iconic weapons ever made.
But in the wrong hands, it has ended the lives of many millions on the battlefield, driven innumerable species into extinction, and perpetrated no end of genocides. We're talking, of course, about the gun, an invention with a solitary purpose.
Imagine surrounding soldiers marching through the thick jungle of Vietnam. It's hot and sticky out here, and the insects buzz so loud you can feel them in your ears, and danger awaits around every tree.
M-16A1 weighs 3.6 kilograms, or 7.9 pounds.
It's a madhouse out there. Every second counts. Traditional rifles like the M14 were too big, too slow, and simply wouldn't survive the harsh conditions of the jungle. Something they could trust with their lives. Something lighter, faster, and more reliable for soldiers. Enter the M16. It was like nothing anyone had ever seen before when it first appeared. Light and sleek, it was easy to carry through dense vegetation.
It sure does.
Some soldiers were weighed down by the steel and wood used to make them, and were glad that it was made of aluminum and plastic instead. But the real game changer? Rapid fire capability of the M16. Seconds could unleash a storm of bullets, giving soldiers a much-needed edge on their enemies. The M16 wasn't perfect at first. Most jammed early on, and that was a big issue in the heat of battle. In the middle of combat, they had to fix their rifles. Soldiers would have to improvise and even be at risk of their lives doing so. Engineers listened and improved the design, and what came out was one of the most reliable weapons in history, but over time. Fun fact: what added to the myth of the rifle's simplicity was its use of plastic components and the lightweight design that made it popular during the Vietnam War. Soldiers believed the rifle was manufactured by the toy company Mattel. Such was the misconception that some troops reportedly found Mattel stamped on their rifles, which Mattel never did produce M16's. Perhaps the myth began because the rifle was made of different materials than the traditional wood and steel firearms soldiers were in the habit of carrying.
You guys want to buy the AR-15? It was designed for the military, but you can also hunt animals with it. What, that black rifle, the one without wood on it? Here in the early 1960s, we don't like rifles without wood on them. Yeah, it's not trendy.
Fast forward to today, and the M16 isn't just a rifle. It's a symbol of modern warfare. It's used by armies all over the world, from the deserts of the Middle East to icy mountain ranges. Its descendants, like the M4, continue to be the backbone of military forces, proving that good design and innovation never go out of style. So how do manufacturers keep up with the massive demand for this legendary rifle? What does it take to produce millions of M16s while ensuring every single one is flawless and ready for action? Get ready, because we're about to step inside the factory and uncover the secrets behind the making of this iconic weapon. The M16 isn't just a rifle, it's a marvel of modern engineering. Think about it, this weapon has been the backbone of military forces for decades. But have you ever wondered what it takes to make millions of these rifles, each flawless and ready for action? How do manufacturers turn raw materials into tools capable of performing in the harshest conditions on Earth? Let's step into the world of M16 manufacturing and see the incredible journey behind its creation. According to my understanding, we typically define beauty as something positive, attractive, sturdy, robust, durable, efficient, useful, or tuneful. It starts with the materials, and they are not ordinary metals. Imagine building a heavy bridge, strong enough to handle massive loads but light enough to move easily. Manufacturers face that challenge. High-grade steel and aluminum are chosen for the strength and lightweight properties of both the M16 receiver and barrel. Extreme heat and pressure do not make it bend or crack, as this steel can handle it. Metal is tested in each batch with the latest technology tools such as ultrasonic scans to make sure it's strong from inside, not hidden. These tests are just like trying to hold a steel rod that looks nice on the outside, but has a microscopic flaw in it. That's the level of detail these tests show.
The machine requires constant cooling with a coolant.
The air is alive with action in the factory. Imagine giant machines pushing aluminum blocks into the tightest form of the M16 receiver. Metal meets metal, sparks fly, and machinery clangs rhythmically against each other. Hot, loud, and mesmerizing it is. However, if any of that work isn't being done by machines, skilled workers oversee every step. Every piece is inspected and measured to the micron because they are. Imagine the receiver as a machine gun that fires metal balls. It's not just for holding parts together, it must survive the crushing forces of battle unbroken. The barrel is the heart of the M16's precision. How many spirals have you ever thrown as a football? The fact that it spins makes it fly straighter and longer. The same principle is used by the M16. Inside the barrel, tiny grooves called rifling are carved to spin the bullet as it leaves the gun. Special machines, guided by lasers, etch these grooves with mind-blowing accuracy. The result? A bullet that cuts through the air with perfect stability, hitting its target every time. When you have all the parts, it's time to put them together. It's not a quick or simple process. All parts are hand-inspected before properly fitting into the piece. But the real test comes next. Trails are then brutalized for the completed rifles. They're thrown from heights, frozen in blocks of ice, and shot thousands and thousands of times without cleaning. Picture throwing your smartphone in a river and freezing it and then expecting it to work perfectly. It's the level of reliability required of the M16. The M16 is today a weapon that you can count on, whether good or bad. The M16 has been worth it from Vietnam to today. A rifle, a symbol of military strength and innovation. It has sparked the designs of countless other firearms and remains a soldier favorite. Do you want to know how the M16 was shaped and molded through technology? It's time to see what groundbreaking innovations and futuristic features have kept this rifle ahead of its time. Find out about the technological advancements behind this legendary weapon. The M16 is not simply a gun, it's a representation of power or strength. You see it in the movies. It makes the loud sound of its shots echo, and the sleek black design grabs your eye. Heels adopted it to look like something out of an action-packed adventure that has soldiers clutching it tight, willing to fight. However, there are some very important questions to think about behind its shiny appearance. Is something so powerful ever good? This gun is a part of war, as buildings are demolished and life is taken. In the movie, the sounds of gunfire might sound exciting, but they make you feel pain and fear in the real world. Imagine how it feels when soldiers march across the dirt and smoke amid a battlefield, carrying their M16 and the cold metal of it. Every bullet fired cost people's lives, and the feeling ever lives in regret. The M16 is supposed to protect, but also destroy. It makes us wonder, can we make something like this right? Is anything built for war good?
Many men have gone when they come.
It has been a long time since there was the M16, yet it is an example of how far technology has come to powerful and fast weapons. It comes with a big responsibility, though, when you have all this power. The M16 is an army tool, not just around but throughout the world, yet its story speaks of pain and questions. Is it a weapon, or is it a sign of war? Its shot isn't just the sound of protection, it's the sound of a difficult conversation we need to have. What do you think? Is the M16 a safety or dangerous symbol? My thoughts are shared in the comments below. Would love to hear what you think. Be sure to like and subscribe for more like this. Let's keep thinking about these big questions together.